everyone, this is Anna at Pinterest Pro Solutions, and here again with you today. And as you remember, I told you yesterday that we would have Leah Rogers with us. Hello everyone, this is Anna at Pinterest Pro Solutions. Let me turn that off because we don't need to hear that. Sorry about that. And now, here we are. I am sorry, I'm on the road, so things are not as very normal for me right now. Anyway, as I was saying, we have Leah Rogers with us, who I'm real excited about because Leah is the owner and stager for Reinvention Intentions, which is a company that does home staging. And I'm going to let Leah tell us a little bit about her background and her experience and so forth.
Hi, Anna. Hello, Facebook. Anna, thank you so much for the invitation. I am honored to be on Facebook Live talking to you, the Pinterest Pro. So thank you for that. So as you said, I'm Leah Rogers, and I am the owner and principal stager for Reinvention Intentions Home Staging. We specialize in preparing properties for sale in the shortest amount of time and for maximum profit in the real estate marketplace. And that is regardless of regardless of the market and regardless of the location. So just a little bit of a background. Staging for a long time was the responsibility of the home seller and the realtor. So they would kind of come in, the realtors would come in and coach the sellers on what they thought would be the best thing to for their home buyers. So that would mean things like, cleaning, making sure the dishes were put away, and maybe no socks were showing under the bed. And then when the realtors felt that the home sellers needed additional coaching, then they would help them a little bit. But as you know, realtors have a whole lot of other responsibilities. So top realtors start turning to home stagers to help them help their property stand out against the competition. So somewhere around the 2000s, when the recession turned real estate into a buyer's market, this started happening more frequently. And what we have found is that it helped those real estate agents and home sellers set their properties out against the rest of the real estate buyers pool. And then statistics show that in a down market, properties sell anywhere from a third to a half faster than a similar unstaged property. And it could also fetch anywhere from 10 to 15% more, which is the goal, to sell your property. So Reinventions was developed to meet those needs of the home seller and the real estate agent, or really anyone who is looking to sell their property in the real estate marketplace. So my background is basically is creativity. So I've managed a hair salon. I've traveled with some of the best hairstylists in the business several years ago in one of my lives. I worked for a major office supply corporation, and even in that capacity, I was always on a more creative side, and I've always dabbled in design. So I have just decided to become an entrepreneur, which is one of the best decisions of my life, and opened Reinvention Intentions in July of 2012. I have not looked back, and I love making a difference in the real estate marketplace for those people who are looking to sell their property.
You said in 2000 that that's when home staging first kind of came to be, and I didn't realize it was that young, really, because I thought people always did that. If someone said to you, oh, I don't need a home stager, my house will sell, what would be your response to them?
Well, and that is, It does happen. And what happens today is that, with the magic of shows through HGTV and DIY and the Design Brothers, a lot of home sellers really feel that, we've seen it on television, we can do it. Well,
right.
there are a small pool of home sellers who can. They do have a design eye. They are visual, but unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, most home sellers are not visual are visual and need that extra help, and also are the same as most buyers. But I would say, to answer your question, Anna, for those sellers who want to go and try it themselves first, there are 3 things that we always focus on in staging if you don't do anything else. And we call it the 3 C's of staging. And that is clean, make sure your property is clean, make sure it's clutter-free, and make sure the color is neutral. So when we're talking about the properties being clean, I would recommend hiring a professional person to clean your home, professional person or business to clean your home before you list it. And the cleaners focus on those things that we, in general, tend to overlook. So things like making sure the chandeliers are clean, the light bulbs are dusted, the fireplace is clean, the kitchen is clean, the baseboards, the windowsills, all those things that we kind of tend to overlook because we focus on vacuuming and dusting. What a potential buyer is going to look at it with more of a broad brush. So we say focus on, make sure everything is Q-tip clean. Then we also want to make sure that the place is clutter-free. So there's nothing wrong with having too many things, but what tends to happen is we like to surround ourselves with all of the things that make us feel happy and warm and fuzzy. And that is great for us, but the way we live in a home and the way we sell a home is very different. So we want to make sure that we remove the clutter, all of the beautiful pictures of the grandchildren, the wonderful memories of the wedding, the cute, photos of, your dog or your cat or whatever pet you have. We want the potential buyers to see themselves living in your space. So we want to remove the clutter and, those things that we want to make sure they visualize themselves there. And also the final one, which is a big one, the final of the 3. We want to make sure that the color, it's neutral. So we like to go with, the beiges or the tans or the pewter, something that's light and appealing to your eyes. So, we know that nowadays man caves or she sheds are very popular. And, if you are someone, I live in New Jersey, so maybe an Eagles color might be very, very popular in your home. But if I'm a potential buyer and I'm a Viking fan, I might not like that so much. So we want to make sure that the colors are visually, they're neutral. And so we're not really committed to one color or another, but most everything will complement it. And it's visually appealing to your potential buyers. So this means one of the things is that today, 90% of buyers begin their home search on the MLS. And that's the multiple listing base. And so listers such as Zillow or Trulia and a lot of the real estate agents, they have their database. So Coldwell Banker Preferred or Keller Williams or whomever those real estate agencies are. A lot of buyers begin their search there. So what we don't want, this makes the 3 C's even more important because we don't want your buyer to begin their search on the MLS and they see a sock under the bed or they see dishes in the kitchen. And believe me, this does happen. But remember that your buyers begin their search there. And when you're in a pool with other properties who do subscribe to home staging and they see it as a value and a benefit, you're in competition with those properties. So you want to make sure that your property is looking its best to your potential buyer or potential buyers, because we want as many as we can get. That's what I would say to the home. Just focus on those three important things. Because those are the things that professional stagers begin with.
And I think that for me, I think the one that really, when we're trying to do it ourselves, that we have the most problems with is the clutter-free, because we think clutter just means things piled everywhere. But exactly what you said, the pictures of the grandchildren, we love all these things, but, you need to make it more neutral, more, not stuff everywhere like we normally do. And it's hard for us to see that because we love it all there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's where a home stager really helps, because you're looking at it from a more objective point of view.
Correct. Absolutely, Anna. And and we've covered a little bit on what we call an occupied home staging, which is where the sellers still reside or have their things in the space. But the other side of selling, which is that we stage, is vacant properties. And sometimes the home sellers will move out and the property is vacant. Or we work also with developers and investors and rehabbers. So the space is vacant. And those things are still also very important. Once you, dust does settle a lot, and it's magnified more in a vacant space. But also in the vacant space, the property tends to look very sterile. And depending on the size of the property, it's going to look extremely small. Or if it's on a larger side, it's going to look extremely large. So staging helps to scale the space and give your buyers an idea of how the space can be used.
Yeah, and a lot of people have trouble visualizing how things would fit into the house, and by having it staged, it helps them to get an idea of this is what it would look like with our things in here.
Absolutely.
Because I know, like the house that we purchased, a lot of people didn't see the potential, because I'm one that I'm always looking at something and, I'm thinking, okay, this could be changed and that sort of stuff. But not a lot of people can do that. And so I would think that staging new developments would be very important, because it helps you to kind of visualize and see what it's going to look like when it's occupied.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It answers the questions. Can I put my king or queen size bed in this? Can I get my mattress or the sofa up a spiral staircase? Where am I going to put my piano? Does it work? Oh, those windows, they seem awfully large. What will I put there? Or the windows kind of seems off-centered. How will I solution that? So staging helps to answer those sorts of questions that are very common in today's living spaces.
Yes, I totally agree. And then the one about the color, I got tickled because I love to paint walls different colors, and so whenever we were selling our previous house, that was one of the first things that, we needed to do, and it almost killed my soul to cover up my there was a part of me that wanted to argue with it, but I knew that what they were telling me was correct. So, but, a lot of people don't realize. And there's a house that is for sale in my neighborhood, and what you just said, I thought, like that house in my neighborhood for sale, because it has, like in one room, there's brick and there's wood on the walls, and they have this fake wood floor down, and all of it's a different type of wood, and you talk about, it's like a nightmare when you look at it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, didn't a realtor tell them this isn't good?
Yeah, and what happens And, you know, it really depends on how you look at your investment.
Right.
So your buyer, the investment of a buyer's going to come in and say, that floor is, in the example that you provided, perhaps that floor has too many colors for me. I love wood, but maybe not this extravagant, maybe, or maybe I would like a more subtle pattern in the wood. Or, you know, I want carpet, but maybe not a mauve carpet or a mint green carpet or a hunter green carpet or a dove blue carpet. You know, to the person who's living there, it's beautiful. But, you know, for today's buyers, and when you're trying to appeal to the masses, neutral, no one really says, you know, I can't live with this neutral beige carpet. So, you know, what you want to do is, even if your buyer is not ecstatic about it, at least you want them to say, I can live with it for a while until then. Right? So you're answering that question. But a potential buyer is going to come in and say, it needs new carpet. That's going to cost me $10,000. So I'm going to ask for that in a credit. Or I'm going to take it off of my offer price. But in reality, the investment in a new carpet is far less than that. So you want to make sure, you know, you want to add up your investment and weigh it. So you're going to, everything you don't do, you're going to pay for. And you're going to pay for in the offer price, you're going to pay for in the time on market, and you're going to pay for in the perceived value to your potential buyer. So, you know, you want to make, you know, kind of decide on how you want to look at your investment. The whole goal is to sell your house quickly and for maximum profit.
Right, exactly. And you know, a lot of people don't understand how all that works. So I think I love your 3 tips there, because those are very simple for someone to follow if they'll just do it. As I said, sometimes it's hard for people to follow those. I have to ask you, well, I guess first of all I want to ask you, in your market, how does a person measure success?
Okay, that's a great question. That's a really great question. So, you know, in the home staging industry, Anna, having your property professionally staged does affect the buyer's viewpoint. And staging is quickly becoming an industry standard. And the reason why that is happening is because of the feedback and the statistics that we've been able to collect over the years. As a homeowner, as a home staging owner of my business, I collect my own data. And it's more local and specific to my history of staging success for my clients. So, you know, I know that for me, depending on the market, my days on market, which is what the home stagers and the real estate industry focus on, is days that the home spends on market. So my days on market average is anywhere from, you know, I've had some properties, I staged a property, finished staging it, walked out, the home buyer was at the front door, they bought it that night. So I like that statistic because that's 0 days on market. We love it. But, you know, on average, we're finding that staging is anywhere from 7 days to 21 on average, depending on the market. But, you know, some markets, the average days on market or the longest days on market might be something like 120. So where my average day on market might be 40, when you still compare it to 100 and some odd days, I've eliminated a month of carrying costs.
Yeah.
Right? So those are all of the things that we tend to focus on. And as a home seller, those numbers should be important to you as well.
Yes, they should.
So we do collect data that way. And then we also have, we send our stats into and we share it with industry groups and industry group professionals. So like the Real Estate Staging Association or stagehomes.com, Staging Diva, which are all staging delegations and associations. But also the National Association of Realtors. They also have a huge database. So they collect data on the behalf of home stagers and realtors and anyone who is interested in the real estate industry. And what we have found through the statistics that we collect is that in an overwhelming percentage, staging has proven to reduce the days on market and increase the amount the home can sell, the potential selling potential. So what we have found that on average, this is a large statistic actually, 77% of buyer agents say that staging a home makes it easier for the buyers to visualize themselves in the home, and it sells faster. And two-thirds of the seller agents tell us that staging a home decreases the days on market. So the house spends less time on market. So those are very strong statistics, and it is across the board. So we know that is why staging is becoming an industry standard, because of the statistics that we're able to collect.
Do they break those statistics down into like geographic regions?
Yes.
Because someone would say, well, yeah, when you figure in the Northeast with the Midwest, that sort of thing, and it's a lot different. So, but they do break it down.
They do break that down. And Anna, I have the territory that I cover. First of all, I say have wheels will travel, but in general, I cover South New Jersey, Philadelphia, and the surrounding markets, and some of Delaware. And I will tell you that the Philadelphia market is booming right now. Places like Fishtown and Germantown and areas around Center City, they are just booming. Areas in New Jersey around the Morristown area, they are booming, and we collect data. So any professional stager or real estate agent, or if you go on to National Association of Realtors, you can find those statistics by zip code, so you can see how selling homes in your area trend.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's fantastic, because that's what people would, want to focus on. And I love it that you can search by zip code, because that gives you a better picture of things.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, do you use social media with your company?
I do use social media, and one of the reasons why I'm excited about this call is because I'm excited to hear how I can benefit from using Pinterest, because I know right now, and I've watched some of your other interviews, and I love some of your ideas. So I'm hoping you'll share those during our time as well. But today I use Facebook, I use LinkedIn and Twitter right now.
Yeah. And those are common ones that people use, and I always say to people, don't try to do them all. Choose 2 or 3, and be really good at it, because if you try to do them all, it's impossible. It really is. But I mean, for home staging, I can see just all sorts of things that you could do with that, because people are on Pinterest looking for how to stage their home. And like I was telling you earlier, my friends here were saying, oh, I wish you'd come to my house. And it's not so much that they want to sell their house, but just to stage their house that they're living in, knowing where to put things. Because it's amazing how someone like you can change the furniture around a little bit, and the room looks so different, So I can see where on Pinterest, you could have, and like you emphasized, the 3 C's, a lot of before and after pictures with that, with the colors, and then also with the clutter. And, you could have volumes of things about clutter on there. And even with the, have humor, with it. Because I can see where you could really, and humor is real popular on Pinterest, so you could really attract people, because that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like in the real estate market, people think, okay, I just put my houses for sale up there. No, think about the questions that your client asked you, okay? And that's what you want to put on your boards, because that's how you're going to attract their attention. And that's why I say, like with the clutter, and you could have a board that was talking about how to declutter, and then a board of, about the colors, because some people don't get it with the colors, okay? And then, having a board that's, I love the part about cleaning, because sometimes in my house, I probably shouldn't admit this, but, I'll notice something like, say, a light switch around it is really dirty. But, you don't notice it on a day-to-day basis, because people using your hand to turn it on and off. And those are the little clean things that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Because if I'm coming in your house looking at it to buy it, I'm going to notice that, And like ceiling fans are the worst.
Oh my goodness. How do they collect so much dust? But they do.
It makes you wonder how dust gets anywhere else, because you think it's all on But, on a day-to-day basis, we don't notice those things. But I could see where you could have a lot of fun with that, and that would attract people to your Pinterest account, and then they would click on your image and go to your website. And that's how, and of course at your website, you need to have something, where they fill out, give you their email address. And, you could send them, you could say, fill out your email address and I'll send you the top 10 tips for home staging. And people
I like those ideas, Anna.
And a lot, people would, and then I would also put, like, having the statistics on there, because somebody like me, I'm a numbers person, I'm an economist by trade, and so, I'm like, show me the numbers. Numbers don't lie,
Right, yeah.
That question about specific regions, because being an economist, I also know you can make numbers say what you want them to.
Right. Those fuzzy numbers we tend to.
So, and I would, a lot of those kinds of things. One of the things that I have tried to do in my area that I haven't convinced anyone, I think would be such a super idea, is for like a real estate company, a home stager, and someone that does remodeling have a Pinterest account together. And then that way you're pulling from all three of your markets, and you're highlighting all the things that people look at when they're either buying or selling a home.
Through the entire process, soup to nuts.
Exactly. Because let's face it, like talking about the home staging, you need to find someone that's going to do some of the remodel, like the painting of the walls, that sort of stuff, maybe replacing some baseboards and all. And usually people have someone that they work with on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's one of the things, and for my clients anyway, my clients benefit from access to my vendor partners. And so they access either through, I have just a plethora of vendor partners who they will have either access to, and sometimes access to discounts, like painters and people who make carpet. Anything that you might need or will need when you are putting your home on the market.
Right. And see, by forming that consortium, so to speak, on Pinterest, you're really helping each other, and you're attracting more people. Plus, along with that, I find that one of the reasons people don't do Pinterest is, I always say it's time or money. They don't have the money to really spend on someone like me, okay, because they're a small business owner and they don't have the marketing budget. And then on the other hand, though, they don't have the time to be consistent on it. But if you have that consortium, you can share the responsibility. Even if you do it yourself, you're not having to do it every day. You only have certain days, and the other part, and it makes it where Pinterest could be a very good tool for you to increase the number of leads that you have. And,
Absolutely. I'm hearing the value, Anna.
And yesterday, we had an interview with a realtor, and, when I showed him some of the things that Pinterest does, he was just like, I didn't know it did all this. I'm like, oh yeah, and I always tell people, think of Pinterest like Google, because that's really what it is. It's a search engine. It's where people are searching for ideas of things that they want to do and want to buy. And so why not be there, especially in a market like yours? So anyway, well, is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up here today?
Anna, I could go on and on about the benefits and the value of home staging. I really appreciate you offering me the platform to share with your listeners and about the values and the benefits of home staging.
Well, I thank you so much for being here, because it has been very, very informative, and I know that it will help, my followers and so forth, because, it helps you to see the value. And it's like with Pinterest, what I was saying, a lot of times people don't really understand how it works, and the same thing is true with home staging, and so to educate people and all. So, and don't forget to send me your contact information and so forth.
Absolutely.
That way I can put it on Facebook underneath the interview here, and that way if people want to contact you, they can.
All right.
Thank you so much, Leah. And so this is Anna, the Pinterest Pro, signing off, and I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. and I'm going to travel on down the Pinterest Superhighway.